Stop letting your past hurts block your dreams. Who gave your past permission to become the authority over your future? Your past may explain some of your wounds, but it does not have to determine the boundaries of your future. There is a dream that some of you stopped talking about. You have not forgotten it. You have simply learned how to live without mentioning it. Somewhere between trauma, disappointment, heartbreak, rejection, failure, responsibility, and the demands of life, you've convinced yourself that it was too late. But what if it isn't too late? What if the dream did not die? You simply buried it beneath the weight of what you have been through. Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Stevens O, your host, broadcast journalist, author, minister, and midlife powerhouse of inspiration. With faith in God and unstoppable drive, I'm here to inspire and guide you into finding your God-given purpose so you can experience the joy of knowing you are aligned with God and live the life you will love in victory. I have two powerful questions. What dream did you bury because of something that happened to you in your past? And how long are you going to allow someone who hurt you in yesterday to continue controlling what you do with your tomorrow? Who gave your past permission to become the authority over your future? Think about it. Someone hurt you, and now you do not trust. Someone rejected you, and now you question your worth. Something failed, and now you are afraid to try again. Someone walked away, and now you have convinced yourself that you do not need anyone. But what if the pain was never supposed to become your prison? What if you can acknowledge what happened without allowing it to dictate what happens next? Your past may be part of your story, but it does not have to write your ending. Maybe you have reached a point in life where you are looking back and wondering, where did the time go? You spent years raising children, building careers, taking care of family, serving others, surviving disappointments, and being strong for everybody else. And somewhere along the way, your own dreams got pushed to the side. But wait a minute, that does not have to be a period of regret. It can be a season of awakening. You have wisdom now that you didn't have before. You have survived things you once thought would destroy you. And perhaps the question isn't, why didn't I do it then? Perhaps the question is, what am I going to do with what I know now? Let's get started. Sometimes the very place where you experience pain can become connected to the purpose you carry forward. That's a message for a woman out there right now. Your past may explain some of your wounds, but it does not have to determine the boundaries of your future. Stop letting your past hurts block your dreams. What if the thing that hurt you is not the thing that gets to define you? What if the trauma, disappointments, rejection, betrayal, failed relationship, missed opportunities, the mistake, the years you believe you wasted, or the things that happened to you that you never asked for are chapters in your story, but they are not the end of your story? Hi, welcome to Direction at Midlife, the podcast where I help you find clarity, confidence, courage, and purpose to create the life you truly want in this season. I'm Dr. Stevens O. I pray this episode, Stop Letting Your Past Hurts Block Your Dreams, blesses you. Today, we're talking about how to stop letting those past hurts determine how we show up for ourselves to accomplish our dreams we put on hold. I want you to think on these powerful questions and really give it some thought. What would you attempt, become, or pursue if you finally stop believing the lies your pain taught you about yourself? Are you truly afraid to pursue your dreams? Or are you afraid that trying again might reopen an old wound? What if the chapter of your life that hurt you the most is not the end of your story, but the beginning of the chapter where you discovered who you really are? Let me ask you something that may make you uncomfortable. Who gave your past permission to become the authority over your future? Who told your past that it gets to decide whether you dream again? Who told your failures that they get to determine whether you try again? Who told the person who walked away that you are no longer worthy of love? Who told the opportunity you missed that you will never have another one? And who convinced you that because it did not happen when you thought it should, it cannot happen now? Today, we are going to challenge all of that. Because your life is not over because something did not work out. Your dream is not dead because you experienced disappointment. And you are not disqualified because you have been hurt. It's time to stop letting your past hurts block your future and start giving your future the permission to become everything your past told you it could never be. Today, I want to introduce you to a woman whose life forces us to think differently about pain, purpose, and possibility. I want to tell you a powerful story about a woman who went from enslavement to liberation. That is a deep history fact. This is the story of Mary Lumpkin. Mary Lumpkin's story is one of the most remarkable and painful stories connected to the history of slavery in Richmond, Virginia. Mary Lumpkin was born around 1832 in Virginia. As a young girl, she was enslaved by Robert Lumpkin, a white slave trader who eventually became the owner of one of Richmond's most notorious slave trading facilities known as Lumpkin's Jail, or the Devil's Half Acre. Mary's relationship with Robert Lumpkin was not a consensual marriage in the modern or legal sense. She was enslaved, and he sexually assaulted her and fathered her children. She gave birth to her first child when she was approximately 13 years old and ultimately had at least 7 children with Robert Lumpkin. What makes her story particularly heartbreaking is that Mary lived within the very environment where other enslaved people were being imprisoned, beaten, tortured, and sold. Lumpkin's jail held enslaved men, women, and children who were awaiting sale, transportation further south, or punishment. Richmond's Shockoe Bottom was at the center of one of the nation's largest domestic slave trading markets. But Mary was more than a witness to slavery. Despite being enslaved herself, evidence suggests that Mary demonstrated compassion toward people imprisoned at the jail. One documented account says she secretly provided a hymnal to Anthony Burns, an escaped enslaved man who was imprisoned at Lumpkin's jail in 1854. Mary also understood the importance of protecting her children. Before the Civil War ended, Robert Lumpkin sent Mary and their children to Pennsylvania, apparently to prevent them from being sold to satisfy his debts. There is always a twist in the story. Here's one of the most remarkable reveals. When Robert Lumpkin died in 1866, his will left Mary his properties, including that property which contained the former slave jail. She became the owner of the very place where she had once been enslaved. Think about that transformation. The enslaved woman became the property owner. In 1867, Mary leased the former jail property to Reverend Nathaniel Culver, an abolitionist Baptist minister who established a school there for formerly enslaved people. The educational effort eventually became part of the history that led to Virginia Union University, one of the nation's historically black universities. So, in a profound historical irony, a place that had once been used to confine black people became a place dedicated to educating those same black people. Mary was born into slavery in Virginia. She endured circumstances no woman should ever have had to endure. She experienced the unimaginable realities of slavery, including sexual exploitation and forced motherhood. But here's what makes her story so remarkable. The place associated with her oppression would eventually become connected to education and opportunity for formerly enslaved people. Think about that. A place of confinement became connected to a place of learning. A place associated with bondage became connected to possibility. And a woman who had been denied freedom became part of a story connected to liberation. Mary's story asks us a question. What are you going to do with what happened to you? Because sometimes we can't change what happened yesterday. We can't go back and become the woman we needed when we were younger. We can't erase the years. We can't undo the betrayal. We can't make someone apologize. We can't recover every opportunity we lost. But we can decide that our pain would not have the final word. At midlife, you may discover that you still have dreams you haven't pursued. Let's get those journals out. It's note-taking time. I'd like to give you highlights and points and notes to move forward. So I'm going to ask you 5 powerful questions and give actionable steps to help you make wise decisions in answering those questions to help you heal and build. But before I do, I want to tell you about my new book titled Beauty of the Black Swan. It's poetic. Beauty of the Black Swan is a soulful work of art that embodies love, perfection, grace, and the divine essence of a marvelous woman. This poetic collection is more than just words on a page. It is a reflection of the journey Black women take from pain to power, from silence to self-expression, and from survival to sacred wholeness. You can find it on Amazon. Please support this work of art. I also want to tell you about my new live podcast coming soon, Direction at Midlife Live with Dr. Stevens O. I will have live guests and answer those hard questions. I will keep you informed. Okay, here we go. Let's get those journals out. Here are those 5 actionable steps to help you heal and build. Question number 1. What happened to you? And I want you to tell the truth. Before you can move forward, you have to be willing to acknowledge what happened. Don't minimize it. Don't pretend it didn't hurt. Don't compare your pain to someone else's. Not everything that happened in your past was your fault. You don't have to pretend it didn't hurt to move forward. This is especially important because move on can sometimes sound like forget. I want you to take 10 minutes and write down the experience that continues to affect how you see yourself, your relationships, your confidence, and your dreams. Your goal isn't to relive the pain. Your goal is to name it so you can stop allowing unnamed pain to quietly control your decisions. Question number 2. What did the pain make you believe about yourself? I call this challenge the lie. Pain doesn't just hurt us. It can teach us things that aren't true. Maybe rejection taught you, I'm not worthy. Failure taught you, I can't succeed. Betrayal taught you, I can't trust anyone. And abandonment taught you, I'm not lovable. Write down the negative belief your experience created. Then challenge it with a new truth. Example, the old truth says, I'm not good enough. But the new truth says, I am still growing, learning, and worthy of pursuing my purpose. Don't just identify the lie, replace it. Question number 3. What dreams did you stop pursuing? Reclaim your dreams. This is where the conversation becomes personal. You ask yourself, what did I once dream about before life convinced me to settle? Maybe it was a career, business, book, travel, or something you simply wanted to experience for yourself. Write down one dream you have abandoned. Then answer 3 questions. Why did I stop? What fear is keeping me from starting again? What is one small step I can take? Reintroduce yourself to your dreams. Question number 4. What if your past is not your present, but your testimony? Change the meaning. Your story doesn't have to end with what happened to you. You can ask, what did I learn? How did I grow? What strength did I discover? And who can I help because I survived this? Your testimony isn't necessarily that everything is good. Your testimony can be, it was hard, but I made it. Take one painful experience from your past and write one lesson, one strength, and one way that experience could eventually help someone else. You're not glorifying the pain. You're recognizing the power of what you became despite it. Question number 5. What are you going to do now? Give your future a vote. This is where you start reflecting on and start moving on. You can understand your past, acknowledge your wounds, change your beliefs, and rediscover your dreams. But eventually, you have to take a step. Choose one thing you've been postponing and put a date on it. I say set those 30, 60, 90-day goals. You have to put a date on it to challenge yourself to completion. Don't wait until you feel fearless. Sometimes courage is simply deciding to move while you still are afraid. Now, we have been inspired by the life and legacy of Mary Lumpkin. Your past may explain some of your wounds, but it does not have to determine the boundaries of your future. I want to give you this for encouragement. This scripture, Isaiah 43, 18 through 19 says, Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. The emphasis isn't that God wants us to deny our history or forget it. It's that God can do something new without requiring us to erase what came before. Mary Lumpkin's life gives us a compelling way to explore this idea. She experienced enslavement, sexual exploitation, forced motherhood, and life inside an environment built around the buying and selling of human beings. Yet her story did not end with what was done to her. After emancipation and Robert Lumpkin's death, Mary became connected to the property that had once represented oppression. Then that property was transformed into Virginia Union University, one of the nation's historically black universities. Your pain can remind you of what happened, but it doesn't get to decide what happens next. You may have been rejected, but rejection doesn't get to determine your worth. You may have failed, but failure doesn't get to determine your future. You may have been betrayed, but betrayal does not get to determine whether you trust yourself again. You may have lost years, opportunities, relationships, or dreams, but you are still here. And as long as you are here, there is still possibilities. So don't spend the rest of your life standing at the door of your future, looking back at the room you had to leave. Ladies, if today's episode spoke to you, I want you to share this episode with a woman you know who needs to build confidence. Subscribe to Direction at Midlife and leave a review. Your voice helps this message reach women who are still searching for direction. Listen, if you are ready to take the next step toward clarity, healing, and confidence, connect with me at drmstevenso.net. That's for us at drmstevenso.net. And please join the Facebook group, a community of women discovering their passions and purpose in midlife. Please make sure you follow me at Direction at Midlife on Apple Podcasts so you never miss an episode. And if you need a community to belong to and that understands where you are, please join the Facebook group, a community of women discovering their passions and purpose in midlife. We are walking this journey together. Ladies, please share this podcast show with another sister who needs encouragement. And remember, I would love to hear your thoughts. Please share them in our Facebook group. And don't forget to leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Come back next week for more faith, fire, and feminine power right here on Direction at Midlife, where every woman discovers her voice, her purpose, and her power. On the next episode of Direction at Midlife, the topic is the body don't forget. Turning places of pain into places of possibility. What are you waiting for? A listen to podcast show you don't want to miss. Hey girl, hey! Thank you for listening to Direction at Midlife. This is your reminder. Your dreams are waiting and now is the perfect time to chase them. Believe in your power, embrace the possibilities, and step boldly into your next chapter. If this show has blessed you, show me love. Please leave me a written review on Apple Podcasts and follow me. Take a screenshot and post it on your Instagram. Shout me out on your Facebook and share it with your friends. Please tag me at Direction at Midlife and I will share your review, and together we can uplift and inspire each other. Remember, I'm Dr. Stevens O. Your journey is yours to own, and I'll be here cheering you on every step of the way.